Ali, thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, and I'm so happy to have this time to speak about this movie.
It's absolutely beautiful. It truly is just so um, touching and yeah, beautiful is the word that I keep coming back to. I rewatched it again this morning, and it touches a different part of my heart every time I watch it.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure, and the pleasure for the crew, all the crew. I say it um, from one of them to you, um, the director and the other guys. It would be our pleasure to present this movie in your festival, and that's all. Yeah.
Yeah. So Griff has three movies from Iranian filmmakers in our festival this year, and I wondered if maybe you could start by talking a little bit about the Iranian film industry, and maybe specifically about what challenges it faces getting its films in front of international audiences.
Actually, we have so many problems. If I, to be honest with you, I'm talking as a producer, as a production guy in Iranian industry, cinema industry, and I can tell you we have so many problems about the financing, about the permits to make the movies, about um, some limits of the government to they put on our movies, and at least we just gonna to be survive, you know. We are fighting actually in this industry, and about this movie and the other movies, I'm sure about that. Some movies are supported by government. I'm not talking about them, but the independent movies from the people who working in cinema as a crew, uh, producer, directors, script writers, everyone, and they against so many problems to make a movie. It's a longer story. That's, yeah.
It's today we happen to be speaking on National Canadian Film Day, and it's a day when Canadian film is kind of celebrated across the country because compared to the American film industry, we're so overshadowed. And then add on to that the political strife and barriers that exist between Iran and other countries. I can only imagine how difficult it is to be a filmmaker and want to make great art and let it be seen by others. So we're so happy to have this film in our festival.
It's my pleasure too. I can tell you about one of my movies that I produced it. Me and Mr. Sajjadi, Arash, we are partners and producing some movies. But he's the director. The movie's name was Shahin. We get the permit to make this movie. We made it. After that, they stop it. After we make the movie, after we spend too much money, because it's a industry, it's a professional industry. You have to pay to the crew, to pay for everything. This is a professional process, and after that, the government stopped it. It's almost 300 days that the movie we cannot release it. We cannot release it. I'm looking for a company in whole the world to release this film, because and this film gets so many awards, over that 35 festivals and awards in whole the world, but they stopped it. after permit, you know.
Yeah.
After permit, we make the movie word by word on the script, but after that they change their mind. So who's responsible about this problem? So many problems like this we have, and it's too many difficult.
Yeah.
It's too many difficult. Yeah.
Well, every little bit that we can do and get these films in front of audiences, we're very happy to do so. One thing I've noticed about the Iranian films that we've shown at the festival over the past few years is that they tend to be very socially charged. You know, the subject matters very, socially relevant, and this film is no different. Do you think that that's part of the character of Iranian films, or is that just something in the sorts of films we're seeing, or is that a preconception that maybe I have of these films that doesn't actually exist, or it's just a part of it?
Actually, this film is a child of Iranian cinema, you know, born in this industry, born in this area, born in this in that place, you know. Mr. Sajjadi, the director, I can tell about him. He's thinking like a poet, and the movie is like a poetry, you know. Because of that, and he has a very special childhood memories. And also this movie, actually this movie is about the teenagers. We have so many movies about the adults. We have so many movies about the children. But about the teenagers and their problems, we have not so many, so much movies, you know. And this movie exactly comes on this point and tell a story about the teenager. And the other thing is, I can tell about COVID-19. This movie made in quarantine time, when there was no vaccine in Iran, there was no hope, there was no future, you know. And the crew goes in quarantine together in a hotel and start to record this movie in 30 days. Can you believe that?
Wow.
It's about the production guys know this. We made this movie in 30 days only.
It's absolutely incredible, and you can kind of feel that on the screen. It's a very, it's a very close-knit group of people that are involved. You know, the boy, he's interacting with the people who are in this hotel, and you kind of get that sense of, this was the same was true of the production. The crew was there, they were on the beach, they were in the hotel. It was just as close knit.
Exactly. And this movie, the story, we arranged the sequences, not by the not together. I mean based on the story, and there's some problems when you work with teenagers. If you see the movie, you can see the boy comes maturing during the time of the film. His voice changed, his face changed, and because of that, we record the sequences by the number 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Because of that. And this is a very sensitive thing in this movie. You can see maturing this boy after the movie. This is the.
it's, I mean, you're right. It's the challenge of working with teenagers, and it's funny, even over such a short period as 30 days, they grow up in front of you. To that point, you know, this film, it's very much about a boy who's becoming a man. He's having these responsibilities thrust upon him. The lead actor is absolutely terrific, which, you know, sometimes when you're casting young actors, you know, it's a rare thing to get someone as talented and who can display as much emotion as he does. And as you were saying, you know, telling these stories about you know, teenagers, or the, you know, people who are coming of age, you know, why is that important to tell these sorts of stories, and especially the story about, you know, a boy who has so much responsibility kind of thrust upon him?
Actually, this is this is a deep meaning behind the story. There's a deep meaning behind the story, and this is very cultural, and it's about Iranian society. I mean, uh, honesty and puring is the symbol of the boy. And the other guy, you can imagine someone who has money, is rich, the capitalist, region capitalist, something like that. And the other strangers are forced him, make some problems, and take the girl,
Right,
and cheat to his wife, you know.
yeah.
This is the real story of Iranian culture in my country. When you look at the film, when you watch the film, you see a simple story about a teenager and his problems, and it's very simple, and you see and continue from the end. But behind of that, there's a deep meaning about Iran and its problems right now in this time. Yeah,
I think I think that kind of shows in how the boy learns about his responsibilities. You know, at the start, it's just about chopping vegetables and making sure that the food
yeah,
is out on
yeah,
time.
yeah,
It's very superficial problems. You know, he's just trying
yeah,
to get A, B, and C done. But the more he learns about the people, the more he becomes a part of the lives of the people around him, the responsibilities increase,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it becomes much more
Exactly,
personal.
exactly.
Yeah,
Actually, there's something else so simple for us because we are adults to handle some little things, and this is hard for a teenager to learn it, to begin it. When you work with a teenager, when you are going to teach him or her, you can see that the simple things are probably so hard for them. And then about the relationships and communication between the humans, you know,
yeah,
this is the meaning of maturing, by the body, by the mind, by the soul.
yeah,
Yeah, and you can see all of them in this movie from first to end.
yeah.
Yeah,
And how he learns different aspects of how to grow into a man by the different types of people that he interacts with in the hotel. It's nice
yeah,
to see him
yeah,
like pick things up from each
yeah,
person. Yeah.
yeah, 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 exactly.
Um, so I mean that kind of leads me to my next question. What do you look for in a project when you are looking to become involved in a project?
Can you explain it for me, please?
So is there, you know, as if you're you know, sorry, if you are approaching something as an actor or as a producer or as any member of a team, when you're looking at scripts or potential movies or TV shows, anything, is there anything that you look for in terms of themes or in terms of message that connects to you, that makes you look at a project like Beach Dreams and say, yes, I want to be involved with this?
Actually, first, I told you about Mr. Sajadi. Yeah. He's a poet. The script was like a poetry, you know, and it looks like pure and strong. Then we send it to the crew for the Mrs. Ladan Mostofi, the girl who's acted in this movie, and the other guys for the cinematographer and the other guys. They're all excited. They said, we are in. And because of quarantine, they go together in a quarantine place, and they worked by details, you know, for each sequences, for each day, for each minute recording, with thinking so deep, challenging, and make this movie a little bit different method. This is a little bit different method, because when you're gonna to record and camera shooting for a professional film, everything was accepted before, you know, everything. But in this movie, just the script and the locations and the actors and actresses was accepted before. How happened in this movie? What we record a sequence is a challenge. Was a challenge between the crew.
Right.
The group, everyone say his idea, and the director make the decision. After that, they create it. You know, every sequence was a creating. Right. And actually, I have to tell you about the boy who is acted in this movie. This is his first time.
Wow.
Without any experience about acting before.
That's absolutely incredible. I can only imagine that if he sticks with it, like, he will turn out just terrific performances from here on out, because he blew me away. His performance is just, everyone in the film's performance is wonderful, but it really is his performance knitting them all together, you know, as the common piece between each element. And, you know, considering that it was filmed in quarantine, you know, there could have been that inclination to, you know, we're only going to record, you know, these elements, and they're going to be in isolation, and the boy is going to be the only thing that kind of moves between them. And the fact that it doesn't do that, that it feels like the hotel is a living community. And I loved the scenes when they're all kind of sitting on the beach, under the tent around the fire, and it looks like it's freezing, which it made me laugh at, you know, they're all on this beach, but they're all bundled up in warm coats. But it does feel like they all have their own lives, they all have their own issues and problems, but they all still come together, and they enjoy meals, and and even the relationships with him, you know, they stop being guests, they start being family.
Exactly. That's the point that you explain it very beautiful. That's true. Correct.
It's an absolutely beautiful film. That's kind of all of my questions about Beach Dream itself. What are you working on now? What are you excited about? You know, obviously you have this film that you haven't been able to release, but are you working on anything else that we might be able to get excited about?
Yes, actually we produced and made a movie after this, and it's in editing stage. Um, After that, I'm gonna to start two movies with Mr. Sajjadi, actually in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
terrific.
and both of them the scripts are ready. One of them, one of them part of is in Toronto, and the part of it is in Banff, and the name is Duel in Banff, and
Okay.
the other one is Blue Jay Song. And one of them is a sport drama,
Mhm.
and the other one is a minimal film, uh, actually like this one that you saw before. We're working on these two scripts, and I hope so to solve, to make the solution for some problems to start these movies, because I'm newcomer, as you know, and it's almost 4 years I'm living this city, and I love this culture. I love this country um, as my back home, you know.
Right.
And I want to do something to say appreciate to these people, and to say thanks to these people who they um, um, give me and live with me peaceful, say welcome to me. Because of that, I write a script with Mr. Sajjadi, and we're gonna to start and make this in this country, and it's actually Canadian. It's about a Iranian guy who lives in almost 25 years in Canada, and it's about the relationship between he and his teenager girl.
Well, it sounds terrific. Please keep us up to date with how it's going, and we'd
Sure,
be
sure,
happy to take a look at it when it's done. Those
sure,
all
sure,
sound like absolutely fantastic
sure.
projects.
It's my
So
pleasure. Sure,
this
sure.
has been absolutely wonderful talking with you. Thank you so much, and
Thank you
thank you
so
again
much.
for the film.
Thank you
It's
so much. Thank you.
wonderful.
It's our pleasure. I say thanks as all of the crew, actually, especially Mr. Sajjadi, to you guys, and it's our honor to be part of this film festival, and hope the best for you next year. Grow up better than this. You're best. You're better. But I mean. Um, uh, I wish all the best for you, and hope to be in your festival with other movies next year.
I mean, yeah, if and hopefully the next time you're in the festival, we'll actually be able to bring you down, and we'll be able to have these sorts of conversations face to face. So
Sure, be my pleasure. Thank you so much.
thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Same to you.